A teacher mocked a teen for saying her mom was a SEAL. The teacher froze when she showed up in uniform. A teenage student raised her hand and said, "My mom is a Navy SEAL." The whole class burst into laughter. Even the teacher joined in, saying, "Oh yeah, how can you be so sure?" The girl insisted she wasn't joking. "I'm serious," she said. "My mom is a Navy SEAL." The teacher laughed even harder. A woman being a SEAL. That's the best joke I've heard all week. He paused to wipe a tear from his eye. "Oh, you kids sure do have active imaginations." The girl's face flushed with embarrassment. "No, I'm telling the truth," she whispered, looking down at her desk. The teacher shook his head, still chuckling. "Oh, I'm sure your mom does something really cool," he said, not looking at her. "Maybe she's an underwater basket weaver." The girl bit her lip, fighting back tears. As the class continued, she kept glancing at the door, hoping to disappear. Suddenly, a loud knock echoed through the classroom. Startled, the students turned toward the door as it swung open. Standing in the doorway was a tall, confident woman dressed in full Navy SEAL uniform. Her gaze swept across the room, her eyes lingering on the teacher. The girl's eyes widened in recognition. "Mom," she whispered, a smile tugging at her lips. The woman walked further into the room, her presence commanding attention. "Good morning, class," she said, her voice echoing authority. The students shifted uncomfortably in their seats as they realized the woman's piercing stare was fixed on their teacher. He froze, his face paling as he recognized the uniform. Beads of sweat formed on his forehead and he stammered, "See, can I help you?" The woman's eyes narrowed, locking onto the teacher. "Are you aware," she began, her voice laced with ice, "that my daughter told me you were laughing at her for being a SEAL's kid?" The teacher's face drained of color as the realization of his mistake hit him. He opened his mouth to speak, but no words came out. Shame and fear contorted his features. The woman's gaze shifted to the class, and her eyes, though stern, held a hint of amusement. "I'd like to introduce myself," she said, her voice echoing through the silent classroom as the most badass woman in the world. "I am a Navy SEAL." She paused, letting the weight of her words sink in. "I've trained rigorously, pushed beyond perceived limits, and served my country with honor. My daughter takes great pride in my service, and it saddens me that someone would try to diminish her experience." She turned back to the teacher, her eyes blazing with intensity. "Perhaps you'd like to apologize to my daughter for laughing at her and questioning her family." The teacher's shoulders slumped, defeated. He looked at the girl who had initially shared her story, her face now filled with a mix of triumph and relief. He mumbled an apology, his voice cracking with shame. The woman nodded curtly, accepting his apology. "That's enough," she said. With that, she turned and walked out of the classroom, leaving behind a stunned silence. The students looked at each other, realizing they had just witnessed a powerful moment of accountability and respect. They saw the girl in a new light, admiring the courage she had shown in sharing her story. As for the teacher, he learned a valuable lesson that day about the power of humility and the importance of believing in one's students. From that day forward, he treated every student with respect, recognizing that they might have more to teach him than he could ever imagine. The girl and her mom walked out of the school together, their heads held high, their bonds strengthened by the shared experience. The memory of that day forever etched in their lives is a testament to the power of truth. Expect an unwavering support between a mother and her daughter.